Good afternoon and welcome to Charlie's Corner. Well, today, say hi, Daisy. Hi, Daisy. Today, we're going to go over the first of the clans in my series, which is the Kennedy, Clan Kennedy. So, how do we relate to Clan Kennedy? I'm about to show you. Let's get started. So if we start with me, we go to my dad. All right. Then there was my grandfather. Now, my dad's father was Charlie Seton Alexander. His dad, or my great-grandfather, was Joseph Thomas Alexander. Now, he went by Tom Alexander, but he was Joseph Thomas Alexander. And he married a woman named Mary Ellen Kennedy. Anyways, and she actually, her grandparents were one of the families that came out of Beachland in the 1840s, the 1850s. And she was Indian. And so the oral tradition was that she was descended from the Lost Colony and the Croatan Indians. Anyways, so Mary Ellen Kennedy's father was a guy named H.K. Kennedy, and he was Scottish. And so his wife would have been the one, the descendant from Beachland. So H.K. Kennedy was Scottish. And let's show you on a map where all this was taking place. So H.K. Kennedy lived right here in this area of East Lake. I'll zoom in just a minute. His wife would come from the Lost Colony at Roanoke. They came down, mixed in with the Croatan Indians, and then came up here, and they migrated into here, this swamp area right here, which was they called Beachland. Now, just so you know where we're at, this is the Albemarle Sound. This is the Alligator River. This is what's known as mainland Dare County. All right. And Highway 64 runs here. Beachland would have been right about in here. This is South Lake. And they lived right here. They, meaning H.K. Kennedy, lived right here. And let me zoom in and see if we can pick up the exact spot, because I know the exact spot where he was. There was a church there. There still is a church there, and it's right on the road that goes to Buffalo City. Do we have a road going to Buffalo City? I'm looking. Be patient. There's Buffalo City. The road would have been right in here. It would be right in here. All right. Looks like that road is not going to show up. Let's try and get a little closer. Oh, yeah, there it is. So Buffalo City Road is right here. And right across from that, there's a church right there. And right beside the church, on the east side of that church, is a block of land, and that's where H.K. Kennedy lived. And at the time, Joseph Thomas Alexander would have been a young man, and he was living over here in Alligator, and there was just no work. All right, and this was just prior to the Depression. All right, and so he would come across here And in Buffalo City, that was a logging city, and there's a big, huge logging operation going on. And so he would worked with logging there, with the logging off that area right here. And on his way to and from there, he would have met Mary Ellen Kennedy, who lived right there at that junction. And so that is our tie on the U.S. side with the Kennedys. Now, all this area, this is all swamp. There is nothing in here but swamp, all right? There's East Lake is a small community, and there's houses that dot along the way. There's really no town of any kind. There's a small community here, Mans Harbor, but any people in here with the surname of Kennedy would be related to us. All right, Clan Kennedy. Now, Clan Kennedy, here is the English-Scottish border right here. All right, and the original Kennedys are from the Voltadini tribe, and they inhabited the Lothian area of Scotland. That's right in all this land right in here, below, right by Edinburgh. It's on the south shore of the Forth of Fifth. And there was a chief there named Cuneda. And Cuneda was asked by the King of the Britons, his name was Vortigern, to relocate from here over to this blue highlighted area right here. All right, and this is in the district of Carrick. 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 And there's actually two different Kennedy names in the United Kingdom. All right. The Kennedys, the Irish Kennedys, come from Wexford area down here in Ireland, and those are the ones that are related to our President John F. Kennedy. All right. They are not the same family as the Kennedys that lived here. There are some Irish Kennedys over in Ulster, which is all this area right here in Ulster, because in the King James IV actually sent a bunch of people over, including a bunch of Kennedys from here over into Ulster to settle in this area, to try and pacify the Irish that are in that area. Good luck with that. That never happened, but that was his purpose. All right. And so Vortigern, the King of the Britons, had sent the Clan Kennedy over to this area right here to stop the it was Picto-Scottish raids that were happening in Wales and all along this coast right here. And so he was all along these coasts. And so they were sent over to stop that. The Kennedys are notorious. They're very militaristic. They were often mercenaries. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Let me pan out. There we go. There were Kennedys that went to work as mercenary soldiers and fought down here in France for Joan of Arc. During one of the Kennedys was a commander for Joan of Arc in the Battle of Orleans. So Clan Kennedy moved from the Lothian area, which is just south of Edinburgh, in that area south of Edinburgh, over to the district of Carrick. And that was about 500 AD. And this was done to stop the raids along that southwestern Scottish coastline by the Pictish the Pictish people. Fast forward a little bit with Robert the Bruce. The Clan Kennedy fought alongside Robert the Bruce in the wars for Scottish independence. For that, he was actually awarded a castle at Carrick. And later on, there's a guy named Hugh Kennedy of Ardstonshire. And Hugh Kennedy of Ardstonshire went on as a mercenary in the 1400s for the French. He actually was one of the commanders for Joan of Arc. And he fought alongside Joan of Arc during the Siege of Orleans in the 100 Years' War. That would have been October 1428 to May of 1429. Interesting note about Joan of Arc. Poor Joan of Arc. She was 16 years old when she led this army, okay? And it was prophesied by the French that a maiden in armor would come and save France. Well, she did. She when she came to the Siege of Orleans, she drove the English back. This 100 Years' War was over. It was English kings and French kings battling for French territory. Who was going to control that territory? So, by 1431, Joan of Arc had gone through, lost a few battles. She ended up getting captured and turned over to the English. Well, the English, of course, put her in a trial, and they charged her with heresy because she was wearing men's clothes. And they burned her at the stake in 1431. She was 19 years old, tied her to a stake, lit her on fire. But, you know, on the bright side, in, 1456, they reinvestigated the trial and found that there was deceit and a lack of procedure, and the trial was overturned. So she was vindicated. Of course, she was ashes, but yeah, she turns out the trial wasn't a real trial. So it didn't do her any good, but that's what happened. After that, there was the Jacobite Rebellion in the early 1700s. Now, the Kennedys didn't play a big part in the Jacobite Rebellion. There was a few in the family that fought with Clan Macpherson. But for the most part, the clan didn't really take part in that. And so they're not listed as one of the clans that were in the Jacobite uprising, although some of them did fight with Clan Macpherson. So that's the Kennedys. Let's take a look at their, they have a coat of arms. They have a badge, and they have a tartan. So let's have a look at those. The Kennedy coat of arms looks like this. White is purity, black is grief or constancy, and red is a dedication to like the military. It was the chevron, and this shows that they were Christian. On some of the versions, like the version for Hugh Kennedy, they have the French, those triflours, like you see on the St. Louis or the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints football team has that French floor. There are some of those around this. For his particular coat of arms. Because he fought alongside Joan of Arc with the French against the English. Then we have, this is the crest badge of the Kennedys. And you see a dolphin here. And Avis la fin was the Kennedy clan motto. And it means consider the end. Whatever they meant by that. Yeah, whether it's consider how something's going to come out or don't, mess with me because of how it's going to end up. I don't know. It's consider the end was their family motto. And their tartan looks like that. It's got some blues and blacks, the yellows, reds, thin red going across, thin reds down here. You can look this up if you like, but that's the Kennedy tartan. Now, if any of you in the family are interested in displaying the Kennedy tartan or wearing a Kennedy tartan kilt, you are authorized to do so. You are a descendant of the clan Kennedy, and you are authorized to wear the Kennedy tartan. So I don't know if anyone would ever be interested in that, but if you are, you can do that. And so that'll do it for the Kennedys, clan Kennedy. And H.K. Kennedy, my great-great-grandfather, and in mainland Dare County, North Carolina. And so you have a great day. We'll see you next time for part 3 of this series. And I guess that's about it. That about wraps it up. See you next time on Charlie's Corner.